Hello, this is your Dark Lord Cthulhu speaking. This week I will be doing a video on different D&D modules, different adventures, different books. I'm going to show you my book collection, and I'm going to talk about what's available out there, because there's a lot of interesting stuff you can use to add to your campaign. But first I'll show you some of my books. This is the Book of Exalted Deeds. This is basically the book of all things good. This has good monsters, talks about celestial beings, angels, talks about good deeds you can perform and get what kind of rewards one might get for it. Usually it says on the back, it does say on the back what you need. This is really more of a DM book, but it says on the back what you need to go with it. As a player, you just need the player's guide. And as a DM, you need all the core books: the Dungeon Master's Guide, the Monster Manual, and the Player's Guide. Yeah, you need all those as a DM anyway. I do have them. Complete Mage. This one is more of a player's book, but this, as a DM, helps you build mage enemies and such like that. As a player, it helps you make a better mage, makes a better sorcerer, wizard, and whatever other kind of crazy classes out there. In fact, here, let's talk about some of the stuff therein contained. For example, prestige classes. I don't think I talked about prestige classes in my previous video, but a prestige class is a class you can take. It goes along with multi-classing, which I'm going to talk about a little later today. That's right, I'll be releasing 2 videos this week. But basically what happens is you take on another class, and when you level, you can choose to add a level to either of your classes. And prestige classes are one of those multi-classes you can get, but they have prerequisites unlike the base classes. For example, Eldritch Thurge. I don't know what that word says. T-H-E-U-R-G-E. Theruge. That's what I'm going to say from now on. I don't care if it's wrong. Prerequisites. You need 8 ranks in the Knowledge Arcana skill. Ability to cast 2nd level arcane spells. And you need the Eldritch Blast. But that's kind of what a prestige class is. That's what a lot of these books have in store for players. Is new prestige classes. For DMs, there's new monsters. Sorry, I've been having back problems lately. And a lot of the time, even little adventures for if you run out of ideas, which I never do. The Fiendish Codex 2. I do not own Fiendish Codex 1. I do plan on acquisitioning it soon. This is exactly what the front says. It's all about Bator, which is a constant battleground of evil souls and devils fighting for them. They use them as currency. Actually, I'll talk a little bit about that, actually. Bator. It's based in Dante's Inferno. It's based on Dante's Inferno, and basically each level is for... They're never really specific if it's for certain sins or whatever, but there's 9 levels. I always include it in my campaigns because I just think it's awesome. But one of the most interesting things it has, actually, is devils. There are some devils in the Monster Manual, but in this one you have actually the archdevils, the leaders of each particular planet. The next book I have is Dragon Magic. I actually haven't had much of a chance to look through this one yet, so I'm not 100% on quite what it is for. I assume it's got spells based in dragons, but I actually got a lot of these books off a friend of mine. He didn't want them anymore. Libris Mortis, or Libri Mortis. I don't know which it is, to be honest, but Book of the Undead. This is one of my favorites. This teaches you how to make undead characters, undead enemies. But the next book, Monster Manual 2. There are 5 monster manuals in all, and all they are is an encyclopedia of different monsters, and they talk about like what the enemy's stats are. It's really only a DM book, but sometimes the players need it to look up their animal companions, or if they want to make something completely out there, which I allow only at higher levels. And beyond those, I just have the core books. DM guide, you can see I am a career DM. Everything I do in D&D is almost always dungeon mastering, because I'll be honest, I enjoy it more than actually being a player. It's you create the whole world rather than just one character in the world. But the DM guide contains some generators. The way those work is you roll percentage dice. Whatever percent you roll will show what encounter they get. It'll show basically you build a whole dungeon with those. I don't use them very often, but it also tells you about the planes. There's some. It's the first prestige classes that were ever done. Actually, I'll thumb through it right now. I apologize for not looking at the camera. I'm gonna go through the chapters of the DM guide. Guidelines on running the game, using the rules. Some base adventures, which are somewhat useful. Generators, like I said. More pre-made adventures. An interesting thing another thing is these are more generators. These show different encounters you might get in different areas, and those I do use because encounters aren't as important as you'd think unless it's like this guy they've been chasing down for years, and I've had those, and I, hate to brag, but I usually handle those pretty well. City building, also very important. NPC generators, world building, some ideas for campaigns, prestige classes, building magical items, and then the glossary. So yeah, it's really something that's only good for the DM. I'm sure you got a pretty good look at the player's guide the last time I did my dungeon, my character creation rather. But those are all the other books I have, and there are hundreds of books out there that give you new stuff. It's like if you play World of Warcraft, you get expansions and they add in new stuff. It's just what these books are. And I actually bought a new dice set yesterday too. Actually, I've got it over here. If I could reach it. Translucent purple. Yeah, you're jealous. I love that color. I've also got a translucent red one. I love translucent dice. But this is actually, the reason I bring this out is you do need dice to play this game. I'm sorry about the reflection of the monitor. This is a full dice set. I haven't even opened it yet. Percent. D20. D10, used for damage as well as with the percent dice. D4. Come on. D12, damage only. D6, damage in character creation. D8, usually only damage. Books. I'm planning on buying the epic level handbook. If you see, most of the books only go up through level 20. That's the standard level cap. But the epic level handbook puts you up through infinitely many, and it teaches you how to improve the characters, how to improve the monsters, and how to just keep the game going. And after a while it gets kind of grinding. The furthest I went was level 75, and the characters were so strong that it was really hard to make new creatures because they'd either be way too powerful, like they'd be gods, or they'd be way too weak. So I put an end to that dungeon by inserting the Tarask, which is the strongest creature in the game. You cannot kill it because it regenerates almost all of its HP every turn. And there is a way to kill it. You have to just bash the crap out of it, take out down its HP plus 50% more. And once you're finished with that, you have to use a spell called Wish to make it go away forever. And actually, my PC's managed to do that. That's quite an accomplishment. That's crazy because if you know D&D, you know the Tarask is nearly impossible to kill. My players managed to do it, and that's where we ended it. The world was at peace. Yeah, I don't like games like that though. So we started again at level 1 recently, but that's what got me doing these. I figure a lot of people want to know about D&D. Why not show them? You know what? Why not? I'll show you some of my other books for other games, which is really just this one, Call of Cthulhu. This is based on, I don't know if you can see it, the BRP system, which is every single roll is based on percent dice except for damage. Very easy. I actually like it better than D&D because it's more simple. What I love about D&D is the universe and all the variables, but this is much easier. This is modern day. It's based in my favorite writer's universe. I also have 4.0. I had all the core rulebooks for it, and the player's guide got destroyed in a flood in my room. As you can kind of see around me, my room's a mess still from that. I never really got around to cleaning everything up. I mean, I cleaned up all the wet clothes, and I put some Lysol down on the floor to keep mold from forming, but it's besides the point. But I lost one of my 4.0 books, and I didn't really give a crap because I've been trying to get rid of them for God knows how long now, because 4.0 is just so bad. It's like they took out all the role-playing elements of the game and just made it all about stat building and made it just all about And they simplified everything too. You can't multi-class anymore, and I'm going to talk about multi-classing later today. It's a very interesting subject. You can't multi-class anymore because the characters' things are set. They pick one power. Like, there's these set powers they can get, and it completely removes spells. First of all, because every rogues get certain powers. Again, I'm sorry, I hurt my back somehow. And like the different classes just get these powers, and it takes out the differences in class. Actually, it just all the same classes, just a little bit different, and it's just so bad. The only good thing is that they added tieflings into the player's handbook, and tieflings are basically half demons, half humans, whereas an Azamar or Azamar, I don't know which it is a half human, half angel. So I always allow them as players. That's the one class from, the one race from the monster manual I allow. But despite all that, 4.0 is utter god. Regardless, that's my D&D book collection. I also have the player's handbook and the monster manual. I didn't show that because you basically already know what that is. And if you have any questions, if you want to know about certain books, or if you just want to need any tips on dungeon building, you want to know about anything that might be in these books, send me a message. I'll message you back whatever you need to know. Thanks for watching. This has been your Dark Lord Cthulhu.